viewers, welcome to my channel Mugambe Brand 256. So we are continuing from where we stopped last time, and this time round we are looking at the formation of images by a convex mirror. So one thing that has to come to our knowledge is that regardless of the position of the object in front of a convex mirror, for it we shall have the image having the same characteristics regardless of the position of this object here. So we are also going to be following two guidelines in this particular case for us to come up with an image, or to be able to trace an image for a case of the convex mirrors. So first of all, we shall have a ray of light that will originate from the tip of this object here, and then using the guideline that we had previously, that a ray of light that is very close and parallel to the principal axis is going to be reflected through the focal point. And therefore, since this is a diverging mirror, when light strikes its surface, it will definitely go back and diverge. But as it goes back, it will appear as if it is coming from the focal point. So this has to be a straight line. Reason being, light travels through a straight line. And then the other guideline that we are going to use, so still we shall have a ray of light that will originate from the tip of this object here. So we shall say that a ray of light going through the center of curvature is reflected back in the same path. However, so we need to put another arrow at this point here, the arrow that goes back. So there have to be two arrows, the incident arrow and then the arrow indicating the reflection upon striking this surface here of the convex mirror. Then another thing that you have to take note of is that the point where these two rays will intersect, that's where we shall have to locate our image from, and it is at this point here. So where they are crossing each other, that's where we are going to put our image there. So as we look at this, we shall continue and look at the characteristics of the images that are formed by this convex mirror. Number one is the image that is formed is behind the mirror. So everyone can be able to visualize and see this. So this image here is behind the mirror. So it implies that it is virtual. So it is virtual in the way that it is formed by the apparent intersection of light rays. So every time the apparent rays do meet, they do form a virtual image in this particular case. And as we see, this image here is upright, not upside down. Therefore, it is upright, or we can say that that image is erect. Then another thing that we observe about the size. So when you compare this object and its image, you realize that the image is smaller than the object, so it is diminished. Then another thing that we have to take note of are the practical applications of the convex mirrors. So the convex mirrors are used as driving mirrors. One reason is that they have a wide field of view, and then the other reason is regardless of the position of the object, the convex mirror will always give you an upright image. That's why they are preferably used as driving mirrors. Thank you so much for listening. We'll meet again next time for another tutorial as we go through the different examples as regards the convex and the concave mirrors.